The last video ended with my son and I about to take our first look at an abandoned cabin in the woods in East Texas. This picks up there. So I titled this one Going All In on a Cabin in the Woods, and this is part 2 of 4. In this video, we're going to take a walk through that cabin, and I'm going to show you what going all in actually means when you're a man in his mid-50s. You're going to see how taking deliberate steps toward controlling your future can open up more life opportunities than you could have ever imagined. And you will see that it's never too late to change the path you are on, no matter how old you are. So let's see how this plays out. I hope you get inspired to take control of your future and start making things happen instead of just letting them happen. Welcome to our 5 to 9, a journey we can take together towards a destination that will never be reached. So where we left off was I totaled up all the cash I would be able to come up with if I sold every stock I had, every crypto I had, and cashed out of my Acorn fund. That means I was willing at 55 years old to zero out all my savings, all my cash, just to buy an abandoned cabin in the woods in a floodplain. What a great idea. This, for me, is where the term "F it" comes in. You only live once. I don't necessarily recommend anyone actually doing this, but I did it. I only got about 75% of the way to their asking price because that's all I had. And so that's all I offered. And somewhat surprisingly, they accepted my offer. And now this is where the term "oh shit" comes from, because now I had 30 days to do what I said I would do, and that was liquidate everything I had saved. I had walked all the way up to the edge of making a difference in my life, and now I'm stepping over. I'm going all in. And so the adventure begins. My new 5 to 9 journey just got terrifying for me. And in mid-November 2021, I closed on the property, and with key in hand, I drove 20 minutes outside this small Texas town to my new abandoned cabin. Just pulled up. RC guard is going to be replaced by acres, meadow, acres, something. Wheel drive high. Good. So that's where we're headed. Pulling up for the first time. Been a long time coming. All right, that's it. We're here. We're gonna start cleaning up. Unload the truck. Have some supplies, some tools. This is the before. Hopefully the after is a lot better. Ain't bad though. Something to start. This cabin is approximately 740 square feet. It sits on a 20 by 24 platform about 10 feet off the ground. There is a 6-foot deep covered porch running the length of the front and the back of the cabin. Inside though, it was an open floor plan with vaulted ceilings open to a big loft that was beautiful. It has a bedroom on the main floor, plus a bathroom that also had a little washer and dryer in it. The highlight of the cabin was this handmade spiral staircase with half-log treads crafted from trees most likely taken from these 6 acres. The spiral treads led to a stripped cedar railing running the length of the loft. It was gorgeous. The whole cabin interior was covered in stained tongue and groove pine boards. The interior looked like a Colorado mountain cabin in East Texas. Walking through this cabin was surreal for me. I just bought it. It was mine. And now I'm broke. And I'm in the middle of nowhere.
All right. Breaker box is up there. Power's turned off. I'd use a ladder because this is in a floodplain, so they have to have the breaker box way above the water, the level of the water. Lots of cleaning to do. Wood pile, some old stuff. Nobody's been here in a while. This is the first entrance. Pretty small. This is a 20 by 24 space. So, got your stove, microwave, double sink, coffee pot may or may not work. A little toaster over there too. Refrigerator that looks super old. Knickknacks, big window, old ass couch, wood burning stove, which is cool. And TV back there, bright sun coming in, back patio to the 6 acres, and the creek is way back there. Overgrown, overgrown, overgrown. Just up and running. In here is an old ass additional washing machine, which will end up in the dump. Nice little boom box, that was a freebie. Bathroom, turned on the water, so toilet works, sink works, tiny, pretty small shower, dirty, but we'll see how that all works. I'm sure it'll function. Little small stackable washer and dryer, which is pretty cool. Hopefully those all work. Ductwork doesn't go anywhere for the exhaust. Apparently that's some type of vent. We'll have to duct that out of here. And in here is the hot water heater. So it is currently unwired, which means I'm gonna have to put a switch on it to turn it on and off. Because I think that's how they had it. Either I can wire it permanently or control it by a switch. So, lots of stuff to do. I'm excited. First got to clean up. I don't think the barbecue pit needs to stay inside. That's the tiny spiral staircase, which is really cool looking. Up to a loft that's about a 10 by 24 foot loft, it looks like. It's cute. Bedroom, queen size bed. Just enough room. Fairly low ceilings, probably close to 7 feet. Window, fans, dressers, no closet, but it is just a cabin. So here's the calendar on the wall. Maybe that's how long it's been since somebody's been here. It is now November 5th, 2021. There you have it. Time to get to work, put on some music.
This cabin came fully furnished also, for better or worse. So the first things I had to do was clear out all the old smelly stuff and clean up all the dead stuff that had gathered on the floors. I cut back the overgrowth from around the exterior. I had to replace the old refrigerator. I had to buy a new sofa. I cleaned out the old wood burning stove, and yeah, if you can see in the pictures, it has this awesome wood burning stove. Bought new linens for the beds, washed all the wares in the cabinets, and I got to start enjoying the being alone part of my life, at least on the weekends. I found out pretty quick that I really did like this. It gave my Monday through Friday, my 9 to 5 handyman job, a new purpose. A purpose that was now worth my effort. Work hard during the week so that I could drive 3 hours to the cabin and work hard on the weekends. That was my 5 to 9. I was very excited to get started. crafting this next phase of my life. I was happy to be focusing on something that I would actually have control over how it turned out. I brought my boys up for a couple days at the beginning to help get things started and to get them involved. It was important to me that they felt connected to what was happening and why. Not just the improvements to the cabin itself, but the direction I was taking my future. I wanted to make sure that they understood the decisions I was making. So the plan was to shoot guns, explore a little bit, and start the addition to the back of the deck. It currently was just a 6-foot by 24-foot long covered porch. So we decided to take down the railings and add 12 feet of depth to it, making it an 18 by 24 deck. And the new part would be uncovered. So you could actually look up and see the sky and enjoy the deafening sounds of nature. It was a good place to start. So I brought in 8 4x4 pressure treated posts, 16 bags of concrete, a dozen 2x8 joists, a ton of 2x6 by 12 pressure treated timbers, and a bunch of different fasteners. Home improvements were officially underway. This whole process became therapeutic for me. I felt like I was literally building my new future. Out in nature, digging holes, setting posts, and creating something that would eventually become bigger than anything I could have imagined. It was all I wanted to do. I was now in control of something and had a direction to go. So, as sometimes happens during construction projects, I had a small incident while leveling one of the 4x4 posts. I put a screw into my finger, and when you're out in the woods, a little hydrogen peroxide and duct tape is all you really get to keep the ball rolling. See that video. I only mention this because that finger played a major role in something important that happened later in the week. Admittedly, this is where it gets a bit sappy, guys, but I went on a Match.com date with a girl named Allie. And of course, she asked about the finger. I had it wrapped in gauze and duct tape. So I told her about the cabin. And then she ended up telling me about remote camping alone in Montana in her 4x4 camper van, and how her desire to help people get outdoors became a high priority for the rest of her life. Then she told me that she recently quit her job, a corporate job of the last 20 years, and was currently unemployed. So there is that. But we had a great night with lots to talk about. And there was something really comfortable about this girl. And just between us, I've never used the word comfortable to describe a girl before, but it's my favorite feeling now. A few dinner dates later, we found ourselves at my cabin for the weekend. And then she just says, "How can I help?" Within the hour, she had a nail gun in her hand and was securing deck boards in place as I passed them up to her from the bed of my truck. I couldn't believe it. This girl is a game changer. And all the thoughts I had to live my life alone as a hermit in the woods just went out the window. As did the baggage I'd been carrying around from my old ex-wife. The optimism filling my head now felt endless. It's the energy and excitement I remember from back when I was much younger. Guys, I was 55 years old and everything in my life was changing. And I believe it's because I went all in on this cabin in the woods. In a later video, I talk about how I made the wrong choice with my ex-wife. We go over that and how that experience changed my opinion on what's really important in a partner, and how that actually changed how I ranked my priorities, which made all the difference. This is why I believe Allie is the perfect partner for me, not because she can use a nail gun. I see her for who she is, not just what she is, and all the superficial crap that goes along with that. I've made lots of mistakes in my past, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. There is a part 3 to this story. It's called Being Alone in the Woods is not the end of the story. This is where I show you some of the improvement projects we actually did at this cabin, as well as clue you in on the next big adventure looming around the corner. It's pretty cool.